Welcome to Great Companies, Great Leaders. I am your host, Christine Gannon, and I am the CEO of Brightworks Consulting. And super honored today to have Howard Partridge back with us for a second time. Howard, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
So a little bit about Howard before we get started. I really like to share our guest bios. So there's some context around our discussion, but Howard is an international business coach with coaching members in over 100 industries in 20 countries. He's a best-selling author of 12 books, a TEDx speaker, the business exclusive business coach for the Zig Ziglar Corporation, the first Ziglar Legacy Trainer in the world, the first founding member of the John Maxwell Team, and a master trainer, DISC certified human behavior expert. He's also now Business Made Simple coach. Howard grew up on welfare in Mobile, Alabama. He's going to talk to us a little bit about his journey in a minute, and left home at 18. He arrived in Houston, Texas on a Greyhound bus with only 25 cents to his name, which is amazing how you survived. He started his first business out of the trunk of his car in 1984, and he built it into a multi-million dollar enterprise. He's owned 9 small businesses and owns 4 companies as of today. He's the president of Phenomenal Business Coaching, which helps small business owners stop being a slave to their business by transforming it into a predictable, profitable turnkey operation. Since 1998, Howard has helped small business owners around the world dramatically improve their businesses. He's led hundreds of seminars, webinars, workshops, and holds his own live multi-day events, which have featured some of America's top business trainers, including John Maxwell, Michael Gerber, Bob Berg, Dr. Joseph Michelli. Did I say that correct?
Michelli.
Michelli. Darren Hardy, who I love, Dr. Robert Rome, and American legend Zig Ziglar. He's married to Denise, has one son, Christian, and he's a proud grandfather to Gianna and Elijah Partridge. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Also a philanthropist. He recently donated and sponsored part of our women's conference here in Arizona with several books of his. So thank you. Super generous.
The least I can do.
So it's been a couple years since our first podcast. I'd love to have you share with our listeners your journey, where you started, and maybe some ups and downs of that journey.
Sure. Well, so you mentioned that I like to tell people that I'm originally from LA, Lower Alabama. And I tell them, don't worry, my wife doesn't laugh at my jokes either, so it's okay. But yeah, I did grow up on welfare. There were 7 kids crammed in a little 600 square foot shack. The roof on that house was so bad that every time it rained, we had to get out all the pots and pans to catch the leaks. My mother fed us on $100 a month from the welfare department. And when you grow up in an environment like that, what are you likely to turn out like? For me, rebellious teenager, got in a fight with my stepdad, got kicked out of the house, as you mentioned. I deserved it. I was a wild kid. And I came to Houston actually to live with my real dad. I'd only met twice in my whole life. He left when I was a year old. And I had no money. I had to scrape up enough for a bus ticket. I still remember that bus ticket was $39.95. And I had 25 cents in my pocket. And the reason I had 25 cents is because at that time, a payphone in Houston was a quarter. And so just in case my dad didn't show up, I could call somebody and find my sister. You know, this was 1984. This was way back in the day. I became a waiter, and I worked in these really high-end restaurants where we did tableside cooking like Steak Diane, Bananas Foster, Cherries Jubilee. And it was a great experience, but I always wanted to have my own business. And at that time, I still just made enough money really to pay the rent. Then I met my wife, Denise Conjet Antoinette Pinella. You know, that's Italian. She's from New Jersey. I'm from Lower Alabama. This is going to be a good match. And she told me to keep my mouth shut because I had an accent back then. Anyway, that was a friend of the family, same age as me, 23 at the time, who was tooling around a little red Mercedes convertible, and that got my attention. And when you marry an Italian family, you don't get wedding presents, you get cash. And we got $3,000 in cash from relatives. There's even a little purse that's just the right size for the envelopes that's made with the dress. And after the wedding, we went through all the envelopes, took turns reading the notes and counting the money. It's $3,000. And so I started my first business out of the trunk of my car when I was 23 years old with our wedding money. And over the next 13 years, I made good money. I had great customer service. I hustled, but I worked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that was when I read Michael Gerber's book, The E-Myth, and I learned two things, actually three things from that book. One is the one and only reason your business exists is to be a vehicle to help achieve your life goals. He said it a little bit different. He says it's all about your primary aim in life. Secondly, you got to have systems in your business. And third, for the first time, I saw that I could have a turnkey business that could run without me, which that was sort of foreign to me. But I believed it. I got to work on it and brought on a couple partners and built that business into a multi-million-dollar business. I still own it today. It's a great business. I got a great team, great systems in place. And about 25 years ago, people wanted to know how I was doing what I was doing. And so I started coaching and training on my systems. And that has grown into just the most phenomenal, if I can use that term,
Absolutely.
coaching company. Our community is just amazing. We have coaching clients who are small business owners in over 100 different industries in 20 different countries. Along the way, I had Zig Ziglar speak at my conference, and I became the exclusive small business coaching company for Ziglar. And as Tom and I were traveling around the world, I started doing more and more things for them. In fact, I'm leaving the second that this is over to drive to Dallas to do our 2-day annual business planning with Ziglar. So I sit with Tom once a year and kind of plan out the year. And then last year, we actually franchised my coaching company. It's called Phenomenal Business Coaching, powered by Zig Ziglar. Ziglar is a partner in that company, and we have 8 franchisees. So that's the
Wow,
yeah.
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, two things I want to pull out of what you shared. Did you have formal business training when you started your business?
Barely got out of high school.
So you did this and you had community come around you, or were you a lone ranger on your own?
Well, when I started, I had my dad and my stepmother were in the interior design business, and
Okay.
he helped me pay the bills and sometimes loan me money. So I had them,
Sure.
and they referred me. And I had my wife, who my wife ended up becoming uh, a bona fide legend in the radio industry. She sold more radio advertising than any other individual in Texas history and was inducted into the Texas Radio Hall of Fame. And
Wow.
so, yeah, so between referrals from my dad and my stepmother, referrals from my wife's, successful friends, but really, when I started learning about business, is when I started reading books and going to seminars and, getting coaching and training and things like that. Even technical training, you're with other people who are successful in that industry. So I'm, tugging on their shirt. Hey, can what about this? How, I'm asking them questions and driving the instructors crazy. So, because they had been successful in business in addition to being good technical instructors. And so along the way, just through books and training and coaching is how I learned.
Think that's a really important aspect for people that are listening that want to start a business but are scared to.
Yeah.
And they're afraid that if they don't have a degree or a certificate in business and how to run a business, that they shouldn't start and then they wait. And, at this conference we just did a few weeks ago, we heard from so many women who said, I just jumped in, but I don't really know what I'm doing. And I think, when the student's ready, the teachers appear, right?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, because when the student is ready, the student begins to seek out the teachers. And
absolutely.
so I would recommend to anybody that become a student of business, become a student of marketing, become a student of sales, become a student of customer service, become a student of finance, and as you build a team, become a student of leadership. You know,
Yes,
as
absolutely.
you got to get people to cooperate with you, and the stronger um, of a leader you are, then the more you understand how to um, communicate your vision to people and get them on board with what you're doing.
Absolutely. And you alluded to my next question, which is, challenges that leaders face, which I think change given what's going on in the country, what's going on in the world, what's going on in our own businesses. But when you think about today and the leaders that you coach and work with, what do you think are some of the biggest challenges?
Mindset,
Ah,
what they think right here, what they believe.
and
You
how
know,
does that become a challenge?
well, because they believe things that are not true. For example, right now, how many people have you heard walking around going, I can't find good people. Nobody wants to work. Government pays them more than I can pay them. Mr. Ziglar had a word for that. It's called stinking thinking. We need to neck up from the neck up, because then you look around and you see these phenomenal business owners that have great teams. Did they get lucky? Do they know something that I don't know? Yeah, they do. And what they know, what they understand is leadership. John Maxwell says that everything rises or falls on leadership. And the toughest person to lead is ourselves. And the way we lead ourselves is how we think. And in fact, John Maxwell also says that the greatest thing that a leader can do is to think. And it's, what you think about, how you think. And so, again, becoming a student of business, the challenge is that when people get into business for themselves, and this was true for me too, we erroneously think that we can just be good at whatever our craft is. Let's say you're a coach. Let's say that you're a plumber, you're an electrician, you're a CPA, you're an architect, and you just be the best architect, take care of your customers, and you're going to automatically be successful in business. Well, you're gonna if you take care of your clients, that you're probably going to get referrals, and you're probably going to grow. But there's so much more to it, and people don't want to understand the ins and outs of marketing. I didn't want to be a business owner. I mean, I wanted a business. I wanted what the business would give, what I thought the business should give to me. I wanted to have more money. I wanted to be able to, travel and buy things and all of that. But I never wanted to be a business person, because my idea, what I thought here was that a business owner is some person who only cares about money, and they think about money all the time, and they do everything that they can to get money from people. And I didn't want that. I naively just wanted to take care of my customers, and I wanted them to be happy. They give me money, and we're all happy. Everybody's happy. Well, I learned that I started learning marketing, and I started, just learning different ways to get people to do business with me, specifically referral marketing. And that's becoming more and more of a lost art. The old way of generating referrals, give me names, who do you know, and all that. That's okay. But so what I did was I began to leverage what I was learning by accident. And that was that here are my fought my dad and my stepmother with this interior design business. They would refer me to these clients, and these clients would refer me to other people. So I developed a referral system. And so, one of my businesses, like my first business, did $4 million last year, and $1 million of that was in new business just from referrals. We don't even advertise, and so it's a form of marketing where everybody's looking toward social media and Google ads, digital marketing, all that kind of stuff. Nothing wrong with that, but everybody agrees that referrals are the best way to get business. But that same group of people, they don't have a system for it. And
Right.
so I learned that, and then I learned the art of closing the sale, you know, and I already had the customer service part, but as more people got involved, I had to learn leadership. I had to learn systems. I had to learn how to organize my team. And the biggest lesson I had to learn is that as you grow and you spend more money, uh, you can easily get yourself into debt and you can easily lose money. It's not hard.
No, it's not. It's not. So let's stay on the topic of mindset, because you talked about that as being one of the biggest challenges. And I think that the resources that you've created for leaders and entrepreneurs, your most recent book and books, your webinars, your conferences, all of those potentially work to shift mindset. Would you agree?
I do. And as a matter of fact, what I've been thinking about recently is that people say that content is king, and
Or
that
queen?
or queen. That's only partially true. Okay. It's organized content, is curriculum, really, because if I have a piece over here and a piece over there, and this guy said that and that guy said that, I don't really have a system. And so what I've been thinking about a lot and sharing a lot lately is that what you need more than content is you need a curriculum. So my basic
Mhm.
business building curriculum in that book, The 5 Secrets of a Phenomenal Business, all the systems revolve around leadership, marketing, sales, operations, administration. So anything we learn can go into one of those slots in business. And then, my leadership book, The Power of Community, How Phenomenal Leaders Inspire Their Teams while their customers to make bigger profits, is all about how to create what leaders do to create, that environment, right? And then this one over here is personal development. It's called FTI, Failure to Implement. The number one reason that we don't reach our biggest dreams and goals is because the owner, the leader, the manager, or the team, or all of the above might have good ideas, but we don't execute those ideas. We don't implement those ideas. And so again, it goes back to mindset. It goes back to Mr. Ziglar said that the secret ingredient of success is desire, and desire comes from a vision. The reason people
Mhm.
don't have the desire is because they don't have a compelling vision that says, here's where I'm going, here's why I'm going there. And they don't wake up excited with a dream. And the reason that they don't have that is belief. And so the old saying goes, you change your thinking, you change your beliefs, right? You change your beliefs, you change your expectations. Change your expectations, you change your attitude. You change your attitude, you change your behavior. You change your behavior, you change your performance. Change your performance, change your life. So, people are not putting the right things in their mind to start with. They're putting the wrong things in their mind. They're putting in their mind, they're listening to other people say, oh, no, you can't find good employees. Oh, they can't trust them. Oh, you can't do this. You can't. And we're defeated before we even start.
Right. Why start?
Why start?
Right.
Yeah, it's easier just to go get a job, you know.
Right.
So, but when you understand the benefits of building a business, when you understand the benefits of being an entrepreneur, and you believe that you can achieve and receive those benefits, it's incredible. And it gets even more phenomenal when you see it actually happen, because it just gives you more and more fuel, right? Because
Absolutely.
every win that you have gives you more confidence.
Agree. Absolutely. We're going to stay on that same topic because it leads me to my next question, which is around our current generation and
Yeah.
their mindset and what are they feeding their mind. And so when you think about um, young adults coming out of high school, the times are very different than when you and I came out of high school. And college isn't the only path. And but their mindset is influenced heavily by social media today. We know that. So what advice would you give our young adults to consider as they for their mindset and their vision?
Find out what the truth is.
Ah,
I
yes.
wrote a book called Phenomenal Youth. Now, I don't know, how your audience believes, but it's a very spiritual book. And
I
and
think
it, and
we
it,
have people on all spectrums. I think it's safe to say there's an element of spirituality that runs through it.
yeah, okay. So I believe Mr. Ziglar believed that we are created. We have a creator. And as Mr. Ziglar said, you're born to win, designed for accomplishment, engineered for success, endowed with seeds of greatness. After all, God don't make no junk, right? And so the thing is that um, kids and high school kids, young people are believing the lies, even if they don't believe it consciously. It's soaking in their subconscious through all the media that they're taking in, and they don't know who they are. They don't know whose they are. They don't have any direction. They don't have any purpose because they don't know what the truth is. So I wrote this book. It's called Phenomenal Youth, and the subtitle of it is Seven Lies Between You and Success.
Mm,
And I really just go through the Mr. Ziglar created this wheel of life, which there's a lot of versions of it out there, but every life has spiritual, mental, physical, family, career, uh, financial, and personal, seven spokes on the wheel. And so I really just go around that wheel. And the lie is that you can't be successful financially. The lie is you can't be free. The lie is you can't have good relationships. The lie is you're not good enough. The lie is you're not smart enough. The lie is, and so I just go through those seven lies, and then through my story and Mr. Zig Ziglar's story, I show them what the truth is. And for almost 4 years now, we've had a youth program, and it's just amazing to see these kids blossom when they get a hold of the truth. I have one young lady who is 14. She was, I think, 11 when she started in our youth program. We have a group that meets, several groups that meet every week, and she just wrote a beautiful book of poetry, and we're publishing it for her. And she's a phenomenal writer, and so we just help them discover their gifts and and their personality, and to leverage their potential. In fact, in this book right here, FTI, there's 10 principles. I call them the 10 principles of phenomenal performance, and the first one is potential, because as Mr. Ziglar said, that you cannot consistently perform inconsistent with how you see yourself.
say that
And
one more
so
time.
you cannot consistently perform inconsistent with how you see yourself.
Ah,
So
that's huge.
it's powerful. I mean, because you have to believe, not just think, but believe that you are born to win, that God has a plan for you. There's a purpose for you. That, hey, if that guy over there who never went to college, barely got out of high school, had 25 cents when he got here on a Greyhound bus, if he could be successful in business, I certainly can, you
Right.
know. But we somehow, as human beings, we think of all the negatives and excuses, and the reason is because we're the only ones inside of our mind, right?
Right.
And other people show us our gifts, and um the greatest life lesson that I've ever learned is get around people who are already where you want to be and who have a plan for you to follow. And so we need to be around people. That's the power of community is having people around us that will support us, where we can get the right information, we get the truth, people who can encourage us, who can say that you can do it. Here's the gifts I see in you. And to help you be accountable to your vision for your life and for your business, you know?
Yeah, I agree. All that you said is the model that our youth need in terms of them creating a vision of what's possible for themselves, but knowing themselves and believing in themselves has to start there. And social media is not going to provide that. You
Nope.
know,
In fact, good news doesn't sell, unfortunately.
no, unfortunately. So I think we could have a whole different podcast on the youth, but as you think about our entrepreneurs that are listening and leaders that are listening, maybe they want to transition out of a corporate job into maybe their vision that's different than where they're at today. What was some advice that you received or a mindset that you had that helped you become your own boss?
Well, first of all, what I have learned is that you need to find a problem that you're passionate about solving, and need to find people that you're passionate about solving it for. Okay. So, for example, initially when I got into business, the first business that I got into, I wanted that little red Mercedes. I just wanted to, I want to make more money, be my own boss, chart my own course. That's what all business owners want. But I realized that in order to excel, I needed to be able to identify the problem that people were facing and choose or identify the people that I'm called to serve. So in that particular business, I wanted to serve the high end. My dad and my stepmother were in the interior design business, so they're referring people that are, some of the most prominent citizens, celebrities, and world leaders here in the Houston area. Former President George H. Bush and Barbara Bush, they were clients of ours before they passed away. And it became that. It didn't start out at that, but I knew I wanted to serve that type of client because I didn't want to do what everybody else was doing. What everybody else was doing is they're advertising this low price. And that business, by the way, cares for high-end Oriental rugs and natural stone floors for the Houston area's most prominent citizens. Back then, we started with carpet cleaning, upholstery cleaning, things like that. And I just didn't want to be down here, like price shopping or
Right.
price advertising, getting price shopping and playing that whole game, So, and the problem I wanted to solve for them is still the problem that we solve today, and that is that I didn't want them to have to be taken advantage of by some of these low price, service companies. Then when I started Phenomenal Products, which is now our franchise, Phenomenal Business Coaching, the people we work with primarily are the problem that they have is they're business owners. So they work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They need systems, they need people. And in order to do that, they need to become a leader. So we teach them how to build systems in those 5 areas. We teach them how to be a better leader, stronger leader. And we teach them how to get themselves focused and organized. And so our target market are small business owners who have been in business for over 3 years, who have at least 3 employees, and who, want to have more free time with their family. Now we can serve other people, but we can serve any business owner, but that's our niche market right there, you know, and
Sure.
their families, by the way. And so what happens is we start working with them. We have a youth program. Um, we have personality profile. We just started. We're actually starting tomorrow a specific team development program where we're teaching their team all these Ziglar concepts, you know, born to win, choose to win, um, positive self-image, building winning relationships, how to reach goals. And the fact is that people who are team members who are more whole, healthier in their own personal life, healthier financially. They have a positive self-image. They know how to build winning relationships. They know how to reach goals, and they're you know good financially. They're secure financially. They're going to be better team members. You know, and if you're the one who is helping them get that, you're gonna be a hero in their mind, you know, and
Absolutely.
they're gonna love working with you and for you, you know.
Absolutely. We could talk for probably the next 3 hours because you are a wealth of information and a wealth of knowledge and wisdom. And so thank you so much
My
for
pleasure.
joining our podcast. How can people find you and all your programs and conferences and workshops? How can they find you?
Yep. So go to howardpartridge.com, howardpartridge.com. And there's a little link there that says free business training. You click on that, you're going to get emails. You'll be invited to webinars. You'll be invited to our seminars. So step one is get on the list. Step two is I like what this guy has to say. Step three, get involved.
Plug in.
Yeah.
And it really, there's something for everyone, it sounds like, honestly.
Well, there is. We try to stay focused on our target market, but there truly is. And now I think we're at a place now where you know we can expand a little bit. In fact, our conference in I had a lady from Colombia. I spoke at the I wrote a book called The Monday Morning Christian, and I was invited to the U.S. Christian Chamber of Commerce to do the keynote there. And a lady comes up to me and she goes, she's from Colombia. She's an attorney. She lives in Florida. And they have this translation service. And she said, you need to translate that book into Spanish. And I was like, I am not anywhere near ready to serve the Hispanic market, you know. Well, she doesn't quit. And she kept after me and kept after me. Finally, she made me recall a dream that I had, and that is to help the young people of Puerto Rico. We've got a bunch of ministry stuff that we do over there, and the Hispanic community with their kids. So I said, I tell you what, we'll translate Phenomenal Youth. I couldn't even tell you what the title actually is because I don't, but I had the translation, you know, approved by various people that I trust, and so they translated that, and then we translated FTI. It's like FDE or something like that. But anyway, we translated that, and I said, well, we can't translate that and not translate the Ziglar Planner because the Ziglar Performance Planner is referenced in that book in every single chapter. So they did that for us, which I can't believe has not been done yet. And so this conference, we have the first Hispanic astronaut ever, Dr. Jose Hernandez, who's going to be our keynote speaker. And we're going to launch our whole, you know, Spanish speaking thing. And I'm like, literally
Congrats.
gotta like hold on to the reins. I have no idea what's about to happen to me, but anyway, it's all in God's hands. I'm going to tell you something. The way I learned about Dr. Hernandez is there's a phenomenal movie out right now. It's on Prime. It's called A Million Miles Away.
Okay.
Dr. Hernandez was the son of a migrant farm worker working family. And his parents, during the harvest season, would come up into California from Mexico, pick the crops, go back home. And he had a dream to be an astronaut. So they settled down in Stockton, California, so that he could go to school. And he applied to NASA 12 years in a row and went through every kind of adversity you could possibly imagine. Very inspiring story.
Okay. I can't
And
wait to watch.
yeah, I mean, I cry every time I see it. And starring Michael Pena. And so he ended up becoming an NASA astronaut. He was on the Space Shuttle Discovery. This movie just came out September 15th. So we have him. He's written a number of children's books in Spanish. And so we're about to, this year in 2024, launch out in the whole Hispanic world. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay, a whole new season and chapter is opening.
Yeah, it's a whole new one. Yeah.
Congrats on your success. Congrats on being a tremendous servant leader in our community across the world, and just appreciate all that you do for so many. So thank you, Howard. Truly.
Well, thank you for helping us get the message out.
Absolutely.
Brightworks Consulting hosts this podcast and YouTube channel to spotlight the leadership around the world that is changing lives. Brightworks offers a myriad of consulting services in the public and private sector, to include diversity, equity, and inclusion solutions for any size company. You can find us at www.brightworksconsulting.com. We're honored to have Best Companies AZ as a presenting sponsor for this podcast. Best Companies AZ is your #1 source for regional employer branding. You can find them at www.bestcompaniesaz.com.